Hey, what's going on YouTube? Thank you for coming back to another episode of Brilliancy. My name is Travis, and I am here to do my review for Married at First Sight Season 10, Episode 2. So like I said in last week's video, I wasn't sure, how these reviews are going to go. It's really a week-to-week type thing, so I'm not committing to every review. We'll just see what happens. But a couple of housekeeping things before we get into the review, so some of y'all may want to jump ahead. Can't tell you how far ahead, but you might want to jump ahead. First things first, my son is here. He was born on Tuesday, January 7th, at the exact same time of day that I was, which is 6:29 a.m. Labor and delivery was amazing. Compared to how it was with Tegan, it was amazing. And then they got discharged yesterday morning, so we weren't in the hospital long, thank God. So now we're back home. He's upstairs being fed right now, so y'all might end up hearing him scream. So just FYI, if you hear baby crying, that's who that is. So mom and baby are doing great. So thank you to everyone for your congratulatory messages, well wishes. We appreciate them. Second thing, right after I put up my video last week for Married at First Sight, I got an email. And this email came from someone in television, someone who is on TV. Because I originally thought it was somebody like from behind the scenes or production or something like that. But it came from someone who is a television personality, I'll say. And it was kind of like, hey, Travis, I saw your Married at First Sight review for DC. I have some information for you regarding some of I have information on the cast, that I think you might be interested in. Here's just a little snippet of what I could offer you. And they attached some info about one of the cast members, and they said I would like to remain anonymous so that we can continue. They would say if you want to continue receiving this stuff from me, I'd like to remain anonymous, something to that effect, and let me know if you're interested and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't respond. I was intrigued because I was like, who is this, and why did you pick me to send stuff to, and why do you think I'm the one that's going to deliver these kinds of things? Like, I just want to be clear, because they may be watching this video, or I don't know. I'm not a blogger. I'm not a gossip person. Like, that's not who I am. And I'm not one to spill tea, as the people say. So I don't want to really be a part of any of that kind of stuff. When I do these Married at First Sight reviews, they are just for fun. I don't take this show super serious. I'm not one to try to be like first to have an exclusive. Like, that's not me or my channel. That's not what I'm about. So that's just a message to that person whose name I won't put out, and anybody else who feels like they're from the DC area and you know something about somebody. I don't want to start getting to the point where I'm trying to put stuff out to get people's views or to make people want to watch me because they're like, oh, he's gonna have some exclusive content or some exclusive information about the people. No, that's not the business that I want to be in, because I truly believe that what you put out comes back to you, and I don't need to make it one day and then y'all find out that I got a toe that's like 5 inches long. I need to keep that information to myself. So I'm not interested in that. If anybody has stuff that you know about somebody outside of like fun stuff, that's different, but this was not that. So I just want to put that out there so that we're all on the same page. So this episode, and don't ask me who it is. I'm not going to put it out there. It's just not, it's not important. I ain't block nobody, nothing like that. It's just, I'm not interested. But this episode was about 3 of the couples' weddings. It's like y'all had 2 hours. Y'all could have gotten in all 5 weddings in 2 hours. I mean, didn't y'all get in, did it do all 4 weddings last season in an episode? I don't remember. But y'all can let me know down in the comments. But just 3 of the couples got married today. Not a lot happened. We'll kind of quickly go over everything, and I just kind of give you my impression on how they're interacting with each other, and then we'll go from there. So I have my notes, so let's get started. So the first couple that got married was Carrick. That's Katie and Derek, for those who don't remember. If it's your first time watching my videos, I give all the couples nicknames because it's just easier to keep up. One thing I noticed immediately was that the bridesmaids' dresses looked like nightwear. It looked like sleepwear, like you find it in the adult women's section at Dillard's or Belk's or Macy's or JCPenney. It just didn't look like a bridesmaid dress. So that was just something I noticed. And I think last week I was not clear on what type of diabetes Katie has. So I did write down she has type 1. I believe there's 2 types. Could not tell you. I think one of the types is hereditary. I might be making that up, but I couldn't tell you, what type 1 diabetes means. She briefly mentioned her ex, but that was kind of, the most of the ex talk was last week. Oreo, can you sit down somewhere? And I'm sorry if there's gonna be a whole lot of ums. Just deal with it. So he had a moment with his mom, and she had a moment with her dad before the wedding. They both were nervous. They both were red as a pepper. I could have did something with that, but I didn't. When they did come down the aisle, they both seemed to like what they saw. As far as all 3 couples that we saw today, I'll do my rankings at the end, so I'll come back to that. They both seemed to like what they saw, which is, a good thing. There's nothing worse than being on a show like this and then you get to see the person that you've been matched with and they look like a mud duck. Like, that's just, I would not be interested in that. I'd be very upset if I was on Married at First Sight and they paired me with someone who I felt was, as I used to say, facially unorganized. I don't like to call people ugly. I just say people are facially unorganized. It's just the organization of your face. It does not work well together. Individually, your features may be beautiful, but cohesively, it just doesn't work. And there are many people who are facially unorganized, and it just is what it is. But for them, they did not find each other facially unorganized, so that's a good thing. Because she said he was cute, and I think he called her gorgeous later in the evening, so that was a good thing. They did kiss at the declaration, I guess you can say. And as far as their jobs, I did catch he does cybersecurity and she's a child therapist. They're both in grad school, which is probably going to be a good thing. And they didn't have any complaints about the kiss, and they seemed to have a good time at their reception. So, Carrick, was pretty easy to watch. They're both really, really young. So this could either be like a Browse and Bobby type situation from a couple seasons ago, or, it could not. But I have a feeling, because the last review, I didn't give my predictions like I usually do, so I'll try to do that today if I can remember. So that was Carrot, and that it is what it is. Moving on to Brayler, which is Brandon and Taylor. Probably from now I'm gonna call her Taylor in her wig, just because it's funny. I've noticed this season and last, they're also trying to plug anybody whose services they're using, whether it's the tuxedo shop or the jeweler or the dress shop. They try to plug that in. So Brandon was like, I got this ring from May's Jewelers or whatever it was he said. But Brandon started off the wedding day wrong, because he started off lying. I didn't catch it because Carter was having a fit, but I didn't understand why he was having his friend write the card for Taylor. Like, you already given a false perception of who you are, sir. If you have jacked up handwriting, it's okay that you have jacked up handwriting. Just stand in your truth. Why is your friend writing it down? And then the friends were giving suggestions on what he should put. So I'm like, you starting this off all wrong. Taylor looked like she had on the exact same wig. Taylor and her wig looked like she had on the same wig from last week, but it looked like it might have been a little tamed. So that was good. Some things I noticed about him is he talks through his teeth a little bit. He kind of reminds me, I don't know if anybody watches Love and Hip Hop, but he almost kind of reminds me of Joe Budden in his demeanor. Very like here and then kind of like there. So he kind of will be like, he will hear talking here, and it's kind of right here, and it's and then it busts out into one of those. But it's kind of, like, I'm talking like this, like he Mr. Smooth. So it's like, some days I talk to my teeth every now and then, and then I give you a burst of energy, But he tells us that he struggles with anxiety and panic attacks, and I think that might have been what I noticed last week. Because I think last week I said there's something about him, and I think it's that awkwardness. There was a whole lot of awkwardness in this week's episode. But at least he was able to just say that that's what it was. He did think that she was beautiful, and she said that he looked good to his face. So that's good for them. So I guess there's some kind of attraction going on. But the problem I had with the ceremony was in Brandon's vows. He said, from the moment I saw you, and his mom looked like, and me and Carmen looked at each other like, what? What you mean from the moment I saw you? I think from the moment I saw you, I knew I wanted to marry you, or something to that effect. I don't know. But moving on, her vows, I didn't write anything down about them, so I guess they were just basic. Not to say they were bad. They were nothing. there wasn't anything that stood out to me. But he was trying to be smooth. He was trying to be Mr. Smooth. You know, he told her to come a little closer, and then they kissed before they were supposed to. And the preacher, whatever, what did the preacher have on? I was trying to understand the robage that he had going on. I didn't understand what that was. You know, it looked very Tekken, like the fighting game, very Mortal Kombat-ish. So I was trying to figure out what that was. But, so they kissed early, and the preacher was like, all right, bro, now you can kiss her. Jeez, you're so excited to kiss Taylor in the wig. But, you know, they were cool to watch. But it was super awkward when they got by themselves. Like, I wasn't really sure, like, is this nerves? Is this just how y'all are? Like, because Taylor in a wig just seems to be awkward in general, because I think she was a self-proclaimed dork. I think she proclaimed that about herself. Because she's like a self-proclaimed dork, it was very like, like I felt like that's the noise that she makes when she laughs, even though she did make that noise, but it just seems like that's the noise, like like that was the noise, because like she would say something and then, you know, laugh like that. So, and then he was doing the whole like, I mean, we can just go now. I mean, you know what you what you want, you know, I'm gonna have to work on my impression of him. You know, it's gonna get better with time. All right, they talk about career a little bit. You know, he says he's a, did he say brand ambassador or beer ambassador? He sells beer, but we don't really, or at least I don't really know what that means. Like, are you like the clerk at the 7-Eleven? Are you securing deals for beers to be in certain stores? You know, maybe we'll find out a little bit more about that as we move into the season. He talks about he has a teardrop tattoo on one of his fingers. He talks about it was for his brother who was killed by gang violence when he was very young. So she thought that was a touching thing for him to have. So they're both only children given, you know, the circumstances of his brother. So at least they were trying to find things to relate about. Their first dance, they kissed in their wedding photos just like Carrie did. I don't know if I said that. And their first dance was, Brandon can't dance, so I mean that just is what it is. But his grandma, who was looking casket sharp last week and this week, tried to get him out on the dance floor, but it still did, because he still looked awkward up there dancing. All right, and then let's finally move on to Jostin, which is, I think I might have said Justin, but I think I'm gonna go with Jostin. But that's Jessica and Austin. So at the beginning, she has a moment with her twin sister. He has a moment with his mom and his Meemaw. I thought he is the mama's boy. I think he's the mama's boy on the show. Yeah, he's the mama's boy, because the other guy earlier, what's his name? Derek is the Mr. Ready right now. So Jessica says that she wants someone, or wanted rather, someone who was tall, brown hair, and a beard. And I was like, you got 1 out of 3? Is that gonna be good enough? Because he looked tall. I wouldn't have called his hair brown. I don't really know how blondes work. You know, there seems to be so many variations of blonde, but I think that was more so blonde than brown. Y'all can let me know. And he clearly did not have a beard. You know, I told y'all he looked like Napoleon Dynamite to me, but you know. But the mom isn't happy, but she's hoping for the best. I can't tell you whose mom it was, because I forgot to write whose mom it was. Some notable things I had was he had a corny joke in his vows, and it said, maybe he said, from the moment I saw you, I knew I was going to marry you, which was funny. So maybe Brandon said, from the moment I saw you, I knew I wanted to marry you. Did I just say the same thing twice? I don't know. Anyway, whatever the joke was, it was funny. People laughed. He was happy it landed. And they kissed at the altar as well. But they were really awkward, but they were a fun awkward. I enjoyed watching Jostin interact, because it wasn't like an awkward, like I don't want you to judge me. It was like, hey, I'm just awkward, and you know, you're awkward, and let's just let our awkwards work together. So out of the 3 couples, I think I probably enjoyed watching them the most on tonight's episode. But the one thing that stood out the most was Austin and his hair. Because I think this happened by the reception. Every time it seemed like they cut to the camera of him, he did this. Bam, bam, bam. Like just hands out, here, here. And it's like, it's not that much fixing in the world. Get you a hair bow or cut it off. Like, I do not want to see you this whole season fixing your hair. I think there was a moment when they were taking photos where Jessica was like, "Is your hair always this long?" I think in a way she was kind of hoping he was gonna say, "No, I just did it for today," because I think she'd rather him cut the hair because maybe she noticed how much he was touching it too. But oh, and something else. This may be a little inappropriate. Her twin gave one of the toasts, and she was like, "In Austin, I just want you to know, Jessica is soft and gooey on the inside." And I was thinking, he's probably like, "Yeah, I plan on finding that out myself." That's probably a nasty joke, but I was like, soft and gooey? I don't really know if that's what we're going to describe people as being soft and gooey on the inside. At least she didn't say warm, because if she said warm, soft, and gooey. All right. So next week's episode is going to be the other two couples and kind of like the follow-up for the ones we saw tonight. So as far as my overall thoughts, I mean, it wasn't boring, but these episodes when we're just trying to get to know everybody and see how they gel together, it just is what it is. It's not a whole lot of stuff that's exciting, and this is just kind of the foundational work that we got to put in before we get to the nitty gritty of the season. I need to go find a trailer of the season because I have no clue what's supposed to happen, but if I had to guess as far as these three couples, if they will choose to stay married or choose to get a divorce just based off today, I'm going to wager that Carrick will choose to stay married. I'm going to wager that Braylor will choose to get a divorce. And I'm going to wager that Justin would choose to stay married. That's just kind of how I feel based off now. And for the couples for next week, the one with the guy in the hair, I don't think that they'll stay together. And I think that Eminem will choose to stay married. But I'll give an update on those two after I see that episode. So, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode. Did you like it? What are your thoughts? Who do you think is, whose chemistry is working? Who's meshing well? Any other things you saw? I saw a lot of stuff that was funny, but it's kind of stuff that you would have to have the clip up to show you what I was talking about. Because there was one point somebody in the bigger girl in Katie's wedding party was eating like corn with a fork, and the camera cut to her at the right place, and all that corn fell off the fork, but she still stuffed in her mouth what was left on the fork. It was disgusting. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the episode. Make sure you remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and tap that bell notification so you can be a part of the notification squad. And yes, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'm gonna go upstairs and check on Carter, make sure he's doing what he needs to do, and take his bottle up in case he needs it. Alright, so if anybody's confused, she's feeding him, but you have to wait for your milk to come in, so you get the supplement. So somebody's like, "I thought you said she was feeding. Why you gotta bring the bottle up?" People listen too hard sometimes. But let me get off here so I can get back to life. Thank y'all so much for watching my review for Married at First Sight, Season 10, Episode 2, and I'll be talking to y'all later. Peace.